I didn't realize how fitting it would be for me to look like this, even though I'm going out and I'm in Las Vegas right now for this episode, because it's mm, a teeny bit spicy. It is tackling intimacy. So, this is going to be fun because I have so much to talk about. Um, but let me just start off with a little bit of a life update. So I know I did a life update last episode, but I am in Las Vegas. I am recording, and I'm feeling honestly a lot better. Um, so there's oh my God, those of you that don't know, I'm dating somebody, and her name is Larissa, and basically she was like, I know you're having a really bad month, like January sucks, like I just want you to be able to have fun, let loose, and like at least make it somewhat of a fun time. So instead of moping around in my bed, I have been podcasting, recording. I did get pretty sick a couple times this month. So on the days that I was just not feeling it, I was taking it easy. I just got back from New Orleans. Um, Went on a couple days trip there to eat all the food. And of course, I went to like vlog and like vlog the entire trip. I freaking formatted my SD card and forfeited all of my shit. Like it's gone. Like I even tried a recovery and the recovery was not pulling it up. And I'm like, because I formatted it on the camera and not on the computer, like because it wasn't connecting. Like it acted like I saved it to the SD card, but then when I put the SD card in my computer, nothing was showing up. And I'm like, fuck, I have to format it. And I'm like, well, too late now. So that was just a disaster. But trial and error now that I know that, which I remembered that, but like from schooling, but I just completely knocked it out of the park with that one. Um, but now that I know that, it's just a learning lesson. It's a mistake. It happens. We make them. That's literally the whole point of this podcast. I actually am gonna be vlogging a lot, a lot. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. I'm gonna link my YouTube down below, but I'm gonna be doing like a shopping haul from the trips, and then I'm also gonna do a haul of like a clothing try on, one for all of my new work outfits that I'm starting work January 31st, and then maybe like another haul I'll put in with the shopping like haul thing. Like I'll do all of my fun clothes and then like gifts that I got from New Orleans and Las Vegas. Next week, I'm going to be going to Fredericksburg and Austin, and I'm really excited about that. Um, but yeah, I've really been traveling a lot this month, literally 3 states. Like, I went to Connecticut, I went to Louisiana, I'm in Nevada now. I'm going to be traveling around Texas where I live. So, again, I just feel like I'm trying to live my best life and enjoy January. And then February 1st, so technically I'm going to be starting January 31st just to like get myself in the mental mode for work. But February 1st I'm going to start my diet. I'm going to be on like a juice cleanse, and I'm really just like my main point with that, my main goal is to lose a little bit of weight, kind of kickstart my healthier eating process. Obviously, I've been eating a lot of food. Like if you see my highlights on Instagram for New Orleans and Las Vegas, even my food and drink from like back home, like things that are on like day trips or like trips, all of that food like I've been eating, and like fancy drinks, and like I need to chill it because I am about 50 pounds more than I would like to be. I think a healthy weight for me would be like 130-ish, and I'm not there at all. So I want to focus on my health more this year. And I also have a like New Year's goals list, which I listed to y'all a couple episodes ago. But I'm going to start following that New Year's list like really thoroughly. I think because of the whole job situation and not having a job in the month of January and starting my new job on January 31st, I wanted to take all of January to get into my creative mode. I really do love recording, podcasting, vlogging. It like gets out my creative side in a different way that I didn't really think possible. Um, it's almost just like me speaking to you guys instead of like writing, which I do love writing. I plan to write a book sometime in my life, and I think it's going to come out really great because it's based on my life, like a true story. So I'm really going to be interested in how people kind of, I don't know, react to that whenever that comes out. Um, I'm gonna give myself a. I would like to be done with the book in 5 years, but I'm gonna give myself a 10-year timeline just because in 10 years I'll be 36. In 5 years I'll be 31. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I don't know how long I'm gonna be taking classes for. I would like to finish in May, but it might not be possible for me just because I've been doing so much and tackling on so much that I haven't been doing my homework like every single day. um, so I don't know. We'll see with that. But I want to get into the episode. I have talked y'all's ears off for over 6 minutes, so let's get started. Okay, so tackling intimacy. So I have here that most of these points are geared towards a relationship and relationship intimacy, but I would argue that at least half of these points can make you be intimate with yourself, um, and learn from yourself as well. So it's not just being with a partner, it's finding like your attachment style, the way that you give love, the way that you receive love, the five love languages, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, acts of service. Oh my god. Um, I have a fireplace, but the fireplace turned off. Hold on. Let's see if I can get y'all to see this. It's the chair. Here, watch. Let me go turn it on. It's little fire in the background. Look. Ain't it so cute? But anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Tackling intimacy. So, I think a huge part about intimacy with somebody else is determining if the person that you're putting your time and energy into, if it feels like work or is it like effortless, priceless, like so easy, um, because we all have different needs. And like, for example, with women, we want to be loved, we want to be complimented, we want to feel safe and supported, we want to feel like we're being listened to, appreciated, like all of this stuff, right? Like we want to feel comfortable with our partner, we want to just like let go with our partner. And there's so much intricate needs that come with dating a female. Um, and it's also about like thinking how you want to be treated. Like if you want princess treatment, shouldn't your partner want princess treatment? Or if it's a opposite sex couple, if one is getting treated like a princess, shouldn't the other be treated like a prince? Like we should be giving the same energy. And that's one thing that I will fully admit that I have not done. I've tried in the past, but ultimately failed because I fell out of the need to do that. The need just wasn't there anymore. And I think that has to do with the attraction to somebody else, not feeling attracted to somebody anymore, or even just realizing your sexuality and how you cannot give love the same way you have received it. Because that was a huge one for me. Like, I feel like men always would try hard, and I would try hard to feel it and like receive it. But ultimately, even giving it out, I was not giving the same that they were giving me. I felt like a lot of times I couldn't give them the love and the affection that they needed, and I was very avoidant in my attachment style. I don't know. I really don't know if it was from trauma or what, but like I was just very avoidant and like starting fights, wanting space. But now that I'm in a relationship with a female and that I've had relationship with females that are like, you know, intricate and deeper and realizing after my sexuality, I took a test from one of the books that I'm reading, or finished reading, I should say. The one episode before this about attachment styles. I literally took that quiz. I had two avoidant um, habits, and they were mostly anxious and secure, like a mixture of the two. I realized that when I took that test, I was keeping my current relationship in mind, and I've never been more secure and anxious in my attachment style than I am now. It was more anxious avoidant before. So I also read, even though I know that this is in the previous episode, but I fully believe in it. When you are with a partner that fills your needs, your attachment style does not come out. I should say your insecure attachment styles don't come out. But if you're getting the love that you need and the love that you receive, you realize that like your behaviors, your protest behaviors are not coming out because you don't need to feel avoidant because you have a secure love. You don't need to be anxious because they calm your anxiety. So I don't know, that's just me. Now, another thing that is important is that intimacy is subjective and is different for every person. Intimacy for one person can be on the side of the spectrum this far up, right? This rating, this level of effort. Whereas somebody else might be on a different spectrum, maybe a different level that they need. Intimacy looks so different. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be mental. There are so many ways to connect with somebody. So it's important to talk to your partner and check in with your partner and make sure that you're both giving the love that they're supposed to receive. So, you know, you should be giving the love that they need to receive. They should be giving the love that you need to receive, essentially. It really comes down to love languages, attachment styles, and seeing how you guys mesh together. I strongly suggest that not only with your intimate time with a partner, but when you're talking about it, remove your distractions. Put your phone face down, like show them that you're paying attention. Turn your vibrator off or your ringer off. Take your watch off. Like, remove all distractions and really focus on your relationship. You want it to last, you have to work on it. Now, obviously, some relationships are easier than others, but I think even if the effort is different, like you don't have to put in much work because you guys mesh so well. And that's one thing, but it still requires a level of consistency and dedicated time. Maybe quality time isn't your love language, but I think you still have to have quality time with your partner in order to connect with them in the ways that you want to. I think having that quality time mixed in with the physical touch is intimacy in and of itself, basically. When you're communicating with your partner, you want to be asking questions in an open way. Don't make them feel pressured or that it has to be done, especially like ASAP, like chop chop. But ask them questions, open up dialogue, and figure out what you both are looking for and what you both need and what you both require from one another. You have to ask like careful questions that help you open up your heart and actually open up to the other person. You can't just be like guarded and have like a wall up. Like that's not gonna work. I mean, it might for some people, but for most people, unless you're avoidant and you don't like feeling that closeness, and you start to push away, for the most part, like people need that closeness and to feel connected to their partner. In turn, with asking those really important questions, you also have to really listen to your partner and listen to their answers in order to actually connect with them. Like, don't listen to respond, listen to actually comprehend and take in what they're saying and provide them the opportunity to share however they wish to. Like I said, you don't have to get those answers ASAP. Some are going to be harder than others to answer. Some might need time or a night's sleep or just like thinking time. But essentially, allow them to share what they want to share with you however they want to. Like, everybody's going to be different. Um, Last thing, sharing what's in our hearts is really important. If you have any trauma, you don't have to, but opening up to have your partner see that really deep side of you, I feel is important. I like that connection personally. Not everybody does, but it could be helpful to share trauma and let your partner know like why you are the way that you are. So sharing what's in our heart, our feelings are very important. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling irritated. You know, making sure that you're not just happy go lucky all the time. Nobody's happy go lucky all the time. I try to be because I enjoy life and I want to enjoy life. But like the practicality of the situation is things are going to irritate me. Things are going to upset me or anger me. But I need to voice that. I can't just be like, ugh, and then not talk about it. Like, I need to let out my feelings. I need to let my partner know where I'm standing. If they're the cause, like, figure out how to communicate that and how to fix that and what the best course of action might be, how you guys can solve it together, whatever the case may be. Even the day to day, sharing, like, how was your day? How was work? You know, did you think of anything? Did you learn any lessons? What were your highs for today? What were your lows for today? One thing I definitely want to get into a habit of is sharing with my partner my highs for the day. So, like, what were my highlights? And, you know, like 1 to 3, like, oh my God, I had a really good cup of coffee, or today was the day I went to go eat a pastry because I love them. And being a diabetic, it's, you gotta, not that you have to limit it, but like, everybody knows like sugar and carbs are like the epitome of needing insulin. So, just like thinking about, you know, like little things, like my shower stayed hot the whole time I showered, and I take long showers, or I had a really nice bubble bath, or I went to the store and bought myself some candy, or even like I showered, I brushed my teeth, I accomplished this. Like, if you're, you know, having a really depressed type of day and you just feel like you can't even like get out of bed, but like you can say, hey, my highlight for today is I brushed my teeth, or I combed my hair, or I took a nice shower, or I did the dishes or the laundry, something productive that made you feel like, yes, I got today. Even though it wasn't enjoyable, it was productive, or even if it wasn't productive, I needed rest. Because let's face it, we're all, not everyone, but a lot of people are in this go, go, go work grind mode. And we have to remember that rest is also productive, because rest allows you to shut your body down, to recuperate, to re energize, so that you can continue on to the next day. Like, the whole point of resting is to just clear your mind, get your good night's sleep. I know I don't get that very often. Like, I have trouble sleeping and like getting a good night's sleep. Um, but that's another thing, like making sure that you're feeling your best, and like even if you're not like sharing that with your partner, sharing the highs, maybe the lows, but also I think sharing the highs keeps things on a positive note. Like, let's say 5 o'clock, you and your partner are done with work, you come home to each other. Let's say you both had a bad day. Like, of course, you're going to be in a bad mood. But if you sit there and think, okay, what were 3 things that I could take as the highlight of my day? Maybe, again, I had a good cup of coffee. I had a good talk with a coworker that let me vent and I feel a lot better. Um, or somebody made, you know, cookies and brought them in to the break room, and that made me feel happy because I had a cookie and it was great. like something positive about your day. I took 5 minutes after work in my car and I decompressed, or I um like felt the fresh air and felt the sun before the sun went down and I drove home. Like whatever it is, like that's super important. Intimacy is a close familiarity. This is not in terms of just physical proximity, but also an emotional connection that we want to feel. We want to feel this intimacy and this close familiarity. We want to essentially date our person or our best friend. Like, that's all we want, is to be in a relationship with our best friend, married to our best friend, whatever the case may be. Like, that's what we want, is to have our person and like fuck everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. But like that's what our attachment styles do. That's what human nature is about curating relationships and having that person that just sticks by you. And it's like it's it's an attachment thing. Like I don't know what else to tell y'all. But the important part about intimacy and this close familiarity is disclosing yourself and allowing that person to get close to us, allowing them a part of ourselves that we might not show everybody, especially friends or acquaintances or even family sometimes. And sharing these things carefully, and again, not with everybody. It might, your parents might not know, your family might not know, your I just lost my train of thought. Your family might not know, your friends might not know, like maybe your friends on Facebook or like acquaintances or social media people like aren't that close to you. Like your partner is going to have that different level of knowledge because they're going to know you the best. Like, let's be real, if you are having physical intimacy or sex with your partner, you are going to be a lot closer. And I fully believe that once you have sex with somebody, it opens up a different vulnerability in you. Like, you are so exposed, quite literally. Like, you are stripped down naked. You are exposing like your inner self. And you are allowing that person to, you are giving, I don't want to say allowing to take because that feels wrong, but you are giving yourself to that person in so many ways and shapes and forms, and they are seeing you at your most vulnerable, at your most raw. Like, that's very intense. So maybe that's just me, but yeah. But what I have been told, I can't remember if this was a podcast or I read this or what. But essentially, we have three faces, right? We have the face that we show the world. So, for example, for me, this would be my social media, um, people on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. People that just know me. Those like acquaintances, what strangers see on the street. Like, this is like what everybody sees. Then your second face is going to be your close friends and family. Those are going to be the people you talk to very often. Maybe you share a little bit more about yourself. Maybe you open up a little bit more. This could even include your partner to some extent, because there's also another level that I can argue that you may or may not show your partner. So, for example, like my partner might know this huge secret that like my close friends and family don't know about. Or, quite blank simple, they do, and they're kind of in that category. But that last category is going to be the face you never show to anyone. And that's the truest to who you are. The reason that I say that your partner could possibly be more at that level is I have fully disclosed the inner workings of my mind, whether it be like these absurd like thoughts, like these God, intrusive thoughts, if you will. Um, just the innermost working of my mind, like things that should be filtered. Um, and I've said them to not only my current partner, but my ex partner, Jeff. And it's just amazing to me because I've disclosed like the inner workings of my mind, and they are going to either take that or not. Like my ex fully, I believe, ran away from my innermost workings of my mind, which is okay. I completely get it. We weren't meant for each other anyway. Like I came out literally after and realized like I was never going to love any man the way that I love a woman. Never. Like I can fully completely say that now. Like I am so like I get it. I'm like I get it. Like I found my soulmate and I completely get why every relationship didn't work out. I completely understand why I couldn't feel anything for anybody. They weren't my person. They were like nothing is like this. It's insane. Like so insane. Um but anyway, so that innermost self, you can show some people. And like my current partner, I've definitely said some intrusive thoughts. She has laughed at me. like but like it's like I feel like I could tell her anything and like it wouldn't scare her away. She would either laugh or be like, is this something I should be concerned about? And like maybe we'll have a conversation about it. But like either way, I don't feel judged. I don't feel overlooked. I don't feel pushed to the side. So that's just really nice to feel fully accepted by somebody and also giving that in return, fully accepting them. So those three faces to the world, your family, friends, your truest self that you don't show anyone. But again, I argue that that can sometimes be the full you if you show your partner. Sometimes people have a little distance from their true form or their true self. Like maybe they have a shadow self that they control and keep in a box, you know. But you never know. It could very well be, but it depends on the relationship. It depends on the person sharing how much they share of their true selves. So, in order to come up with what you want to share with your partner and talk about with your partner, we should work on ourselves and grow. The very interesting part about working on yourself and growing when you're in a relationship is it is hard to invest time in yourself. Like, you are going to invest the most time in yourself when you're single. But I find it very interesting to work on yourself with a partner because it also teaches you how to respond to another human being. Because let's face it, even if you believe you're soulmates with somebody, I still think there's a level of work involved. It's not going to be as horrible or as hard, but maybe it's a little bit easier, but it's still going to exist because you are two human beings that are completely different that are coexisting. Um, so, there's going to be maybe how I react to her. Do I get irritable too easily and, get frustrated? Do I freak out and, maybe I need to calm down more? Whatever the case may be, like we are figuring out how to work together as a team of two and be a cohesive unit at the end of the day. Like that is so important on why we need to communicate and share and talk about things and even grow in that process. We should be growing as ourselves when we're single, but we should also be growing in a relationship. It also comes up with really good topics. Like, for example, when I read a book, when I listen to a podcast, when I gain more information, I can sit there and be like, babe, like I found this really interesting. Can I share it with you? Or like, for example, the attachment styles book that I read. Like told her, I was like, I've never felt more secure in a relationship. I'm normally avoidant or anxious, and I've never been secure. Like, it was a mixture of those two. And I said, for the first time, I feel like I'm a lot easier accepting love because you make me feel secure. You don't put me in that danger zone. I don't feel threatened. So it's really nice to feel that way and to be like, wow, like I have a completely different worldview of this, and like view relationships differently. So invest more time in yourself when you are in a relationship because it won't come as easy. You will have to push and make time to work on yourself because a relationship can tend to take that over. So just make sure you're still finding ways for self care, finding ways to gain knowledge, figure out how you're reacting to somebody, other people, figure out your moods, your responses, like anything really, and just, you know, invest more in yourself in order to share more with your partner, and be able to grow like off of each other. Maybe one person reads one book and one person listens to a podcast, or two different books or two different podcasts, and you guys come together and you say, you know, I heard this on the podcast or I read this in the book. Like, let's open the dialogue about this topic, whatever it could be. Like you working on yourself and learning in a relationship, I am fully for, because I feel like it's amazing to like share your mind and what you've learned and like get their opinion on it, because it's something new and something you haven't talked about and something that like you guys can figure out how you mesh on that. Is it well? Is it not well? Is there something, is there like a thing you need to work on to like get in there? Like what? um but especially if you've been together for a long time, because I fear that most relationships get stale if you don't try. Like, if I'm gonna continue to work on myself, I'm gonna always have topics. I'm never gonna shut up. But there are times where I haven't been learning or growing or really been interested in like consuming content and like really getting my mind to work. What do I talk to my partner about? How my day was going for the fifth day in a row. And that's all we have to talk about is our new day of work. Like, there's just not a lot to really sit there and go, like, this is so important to talk about. Like, this is something I want to have a conversation and open dialogue about. So I definitely think having more working on yourself experiences opens that up. Also, another thing, um, that I should have brought up earlier, vulnerability and intimacy go hand in hand. Like, the more vulnerable you are with your partner, the more intimacy you can create because you are showing your raw, true form self. So if you have, like, let's say a huge secret that like you don't tell anyone, or you have intrusive thoughts, or you know you feel a certain way and you don't tell anybody about it, allowing your partner to know that is the truest like form of vulnerability and the best way to build intimacy. The important part is trusting that your partner is going to accept you. And if you don't think they're going to accept you, they're not the one for you. If you fear, like, don't get me wrong, we all fear to tell our partners like bigger secrets or things that like are in our mind, but could you imagine like having something in your mind and being like, I know they're gonna judge me. Uh if I know my partner is gonna judge me for something that like somebody else wouldn't, I'm gonna get pissed off because that's not my soulmate. If they can't get over something that I know somebody else could handle, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I need to make sure that the only way I can build true intimacy is if I am vulnerable and they accept that. Because if they don't and I open up and they run away, that just proves to me that they're either avoidant, that they can't have those feelings, that they just can't produce the same level of effort or intimacy, or they're just simply not my soulmate because they would be meshing well with me and matching me well. Um, Another way to have good topics is to try new things. Go to like a pasta making class or like a mixology class, Pilates, running in the park or walking in the park if you're not like super, fitnessy, or even going to the gym. Trying things that are different for your normal personality. Because, like, let's face it, a lot of people go to the gym, but not everybody does. So maybe the gym would be a new experience for you. Or, like I said, going to Pilates, trying pickleball, like that's super famous right now for whatever reason. But trying new experiences, things that are different, and whether it be something your partner has tried and you try it and you see if like you both like it or dislike it, depending on your partner's opinion, or if you try something new together to discuss, that's also cool. I like to try new things and things that my partner hasn't tried because it gives an honest, raw reaction that like you can't get anywhere else when you try, like both try a new thing. With trying new things, you can learn about your partner with these new things. I like, again, being on equal ground because, like, that is my favorite part is when your partner hasn't tried it, you haven't tried it. So you guys are on equal ground. You are both amateurs. You are both coming into it with no known thing. But let's say, like, axe throwing, for example. Okay, I've went into it and I've hated it. But let's say I didn't try it at all and my partner has been axe throwing multiple times. You think I'm going to want to do an activity that like she's done a million times? And like, granted, it's new for me and that's a cool experience. I would rather be on the same level ground, never trying it, getting to experience it together and have like a discussion like, oh my God, that was really fun. Or that's not really my thing. Maybe, if you like it, you can like try it with this person or like go out with your friends to do that, like whatever the case may be. But trying new things, obviously, there's only so many things to try, but also there's a lot of things to try. So just keep that in mind. Like, maybe the person you're with has done everything under the sun. There's gonna be something they haven't done, I promise you. Find that thing and try it together because it is going to feel so much better being on the same equal ground. Because you're both going to learn and you're going to learn from each other how you tackle new experiences because you're literally both going to need each other to figure out. Like, it's like going into a maze that you've never done before. Whether you're good at mazes or not, you've never experienced that specific maze. How are you going to navigate it? How are you guys going to work together? Are you going to be competitive? Are you going to be leisurely and enjoy the maze and, read the questions and try to answer them? Or are you going to get your butt down to the finish and like beat record time? Like, there's so many different ways to tackle things, and you are going to learn how you both learn, which is so cool, and how you tackle new experiences. You're going to need each other. You're going to rely or lean on the other person, but because you're vulnerable, you don't know the subject. You don't know what this maze is. You don't know where to go. Like, it's a maze, you've never tried it. You don't know the way. It might look a little tricky. That might look like the exit, but then the exit's over here. Like, whatever the case may be. um, Taking on a project together, that is a great way to do a long-term thing. Let's say you're going to redo the living room together. Let's just pretend you're going to build shelves, you're going to mount the TV, you're going to go to the home decor store, get a new couch, couple of pillows, maybe a rug, maybe a chair, an ottoman, whatever. That is your project, right? let's say you're gonna build those cabinets on the walls and you're gonna like measure them out and go super in depth, and that's gonna take like a month or two. Like maybe possibly I don't know, just like you're like, oh shit, like this is like a long cut this out. So maybe it's like a project that might take a month, a couple months, even if it's a couple days to a week, like any like longer term project that you can think of. But the whole shelving thing just makes it kind of spread out if you're, doing multiple steps. Maybe you're painting the walls or wallpaper, changing the floors, or whatever the case may be. Making it longer, let's say into a month project. You are going to be planning, you are going to be scheduling, you are going to work towards a goal. And all of those things are going to teach you how your partner navigates all that and how you navigate that and how you both navigate it together. Do you guys separate on certain parts? Do you straight up go in guns blazing together? Do you do it leisurely and have fun in the process and like goof around, but still somehow it came out well? Like figuring out how you work together. The goals help prioritize and focus on the connection, on something meaningful. So the goals help prioritizing and focusing on the connection on something meaningful. So you guys are changing your living room in your house. Maybe you buy a boat and you're going to redecorate the boat. Why am I only coming up with decorating schemes? Maybe you start a business together. I probably wouldn't. But maybe you're business people and you both want to get into bed with each other business wise. It's possible. Maybe you start a business together. Maybe you guys buy a shop. Maybe you're selling soaps or like face products, self-care products. Maybe your thing is food and you open a bakery or a pizza place or a coffee shop. Like you tackle on that adventure together. It really just gives the relationship meaning because you guys are building that foundation and like connecting on something and like setting towards long-term goals, which also in turn kind of gives a level of loyalty and commitment to the relationship or marriage. For example, you could also organize a book club, or an outdoors group. Maybe you guys lead the group and you get to make friends in the process. That's also cool. Any tangible project, really. Um, so it's just like different ways that you can connect with your partner and try something new or navigate something or build something with each other. You can also create a safe space. Judgment from our partner makes us share less. We all know this. Like, if my partner is gonna judge me, if they're gonna like make a joke, if they're gonna make me feel insecure about whatever I'm gonna share or whatever I'm sharing with them, you think I'm really gonna want to open up to them again? No, I'm gonna sit on some hurt and some pain and remember that moment. It's not it's not like something that we're like, well, like, I really like wish that I wouldn't have said anything in the first place. Like, you don't want to feel that way. So you need to be open and give your partner an opportunity. You don't have to agree with your partner or disagree with your partner. Just listen. Let them express themselves, what they have to say. Focus on what they have to say. Maybe ask careful questions to gain insight or knowledge. Maybe you're actually interested in what they have to say and want to know more, and that requires asking questions. Like, that's really cool when you're like really interested in what your partner has to say and you're like, yes, like, let's learn this or tackle this together. Like, that's an amazing thing. Anyway, This all breaks down to the 5 E's. This is how you build intimacy, how you connect, the 5 E's. Are you ready? 1, experiment. Do a wine tasting, an escape room. Experiment with things that you have never done together, that one of you have done and want to show the other. Um, Usually this isn't new for the both of you, but you can still experiment. It's a great way. And keep in mind with these 5 E's, some of them will intertwine, some of them won't. Completely okay. But experiment. Number 2, number 2, experiences. So this is like a new city, new country, new cuisine. Maybe you've never tried Japanese food. Maybe you've never had Hawaiian food. Maybe you've never had Korean barbecue. Whatever the case may be, you guys are going to tackle a new experience together. And you are going to really enjoy those moments. That's why I say you can experience while you experiment, but you can't always experiment and experience, if that makes sense. Because experiences are new. Experiments are learning each other. Maybe both of you have done it but never together, or maybe you have done it together but you're going to try something new, like a wine tasting. Maybe you've been to a wine tasting but you haven't been to this wine tasting. Something a little bit different about it that you can still try new, or try new together. Events. An event that opens up a conversation. Maybe it's a comedy show. Maybe it's a convention or like a TED Talk type of feel. Maybe you're learning something. Maybe it's an educational movie or a documentary. Something that opens up dialogue and a conversation for y'all to have. Maybe you're tackling how you view religion, or how you view family values, or diet, exercise, how you prioritize your health. Do you not? Is this conversation going to make us learn more about each other and open up a dialogue that maybe we haven't thought about? Number 4, education. Taking a class or a workshop, pasta making, mixology. Maybe you're gonna learn maybe it's just a general cooking class, and you're gonna learn how to make different meals, pastries, desserts. Maybe you're gonna make pottery. I would love to do that again with my partner. I've never done it with my partner, but I've done it by myself or like with family or whatever, when I was younger. But I would love to like make or paint pottery. I just think that would be something like a little creative and maybe some fun, but like a certain level of creativity where I can't fuck it up as much. So like pottery, or maybe you're gonna garden, or learn how to rock climb, or just anything that like gets those juices going. Maybe if you're really I don't want to say prestigious, but like you're a student, right? Like maybe you guys take a math class together, or a poetry class, or something along the lines of like a college class or course. Maybe it's not like a simple cooking class that is once a week, or maybe it's here or there and you pick up a class, or like Zumba, you drop in. Maybe it's like a full like semester course, whatever it is, finding education together. And number 5, everybody's favorite, entertainment. Are you going to a show? Are you going to a play, a concert? Like, are you going to just jam out, have fun? Maybe you're going to go to the casino and gamble, or like just like watch a really cool movie that doesn't open up a conversation. Maybe it's the Mean Girls musical, and you talk a little bit and you open up that conversation, but it's not like an event. Like it's entertaining. It's more of like, oh my god, that was so cute, or I liked that they did that or changed that. Like we both love the Mean Girls musical, I think. Just a little. It was not like the original, but we still were able to entertain ourselves and have a little bit of a conversation dialogue and get a little bit of input. Her and I tend to have pretty good like input stances. Like we'll think the same thought and say it at the same time. Maybe in like a little bit of a different way, maybe the exact same way, but it's always funny when our minds are like straight on together, parallel. Like it just mesh. But yeah, it's just those are the 5 E's. Those are gonna be the ways that you are going to be present with your partner and connect with them. Experiment, experience, events, education, entertainment. Um, Again, there is also a different type of intimacy, which is physical. All I can say is experiment. I have definitely tried new things with Jeff. I've tried new things with Larissa. I have tried new things with whatever partner I had. Like I was always trying more than what I have previously learned. And very physical things in intimacy, um, or in sex, in love making, whatever you want to call it. However, it is in the moment, it's different for every couple. You might feel some same experiences, but like it's going to be different because it's a different person, and you guys are going to experiment and and figure it out together. You're going to try new things. You're going to find what you like. Maybe you stick with what you like for a while. Maybe you have a drought and you're just like, ugh, this is so annoying. Like I'm dying. I am irritable. I'm moody, whatever. And then all of that time apart like makes you grow. The heart grows fonder, as they say. But like maybe that sometimes that time apart, like when you actually make time for yourselves again in that physical intimate way, and you're like, holy crap, like I forgot how much I miss this. And then like you're intimate for like weeks. It's kind of like The Sims. Because okay, such a weird kind of like example, but like sometimes I'll play The Sims like daily for like a month straight, and then I'll forget about it for like a year. And then I'm like, oh yeah. But like, not that extreme. But that can be how it works sometimes. But sometimes you guys make a point like, I want it 3 times a week. I want it 3 times a day. I want it 3 times a month. Like, it can be spread out however you guys deem fit. Um, but always make sure you're still making that time if that's what you both want. Because if you can't agree on that, it might be a difficult relationship. It might be. Because I just feel like I need somebody in tune with me and on that same kind of page. But other than that, I don't have much to say. I think I have learned enough by myself and with her that I feel like this is the first relationship that I'm like, wow, I'm actually content and I don't want to ruin it. Like it's kind of nice. um but it's like I've learned so much that I'm like I feel like a full-on adult now. I mean, I'm 26, almost 27. I should feel like a full-on adult. But like I just feel like I'm in a place in my life where I am just ready for like friends, cookouts, like laid back type of vibe. I still want to get on my grind. Don't get me wrong. I love vlogging, podcasting, getting in that work, but nothing beats that feeling of contentness where you're like, this is where I want to be in life. And it's just like, bam, I've like nailed it on the coffin. Um, and it's really nice to finally feel that way. But anyway, that is all of the notes that I have for tackling intimacy. I will see you next time, episode 23, which we're shifting gears a little bit. So this one was definitely about connecting with your partner, and like growing closer and like learning new things. This next one is going to be more of an epiphany piece. So episode 23 is going to be signs you're ready for a change. And I can't wait to share that with you guys. So stay tuned next week. Love you guys, and thank you so much for watching many mistakes ago, or listening, depending on what platform you're using. Anyway, love you guys.